Hello, Tom from South Carolina. I'm sorry I missed you, bro. Well, hello, Blue Troopers, Max and Max's models here. I'm wrapping up for the night. It's a beautiful evening. I think I'm going to get my brother-in-law and go for a nice long drive in the Mustang on this beautiful Friday evening and watch the sunset out over the river. So, anywho, we got a fair bit done today, actually. I got off my carcass and got moving fairly early today. So, the Bugatti, I managed to get everything with when I was done with the tape, got the tape off, everything was aligned, so I was mostly filling it with putty. It's hard now. I can start to, the putty is gassed out completely. And I can go ahead and start sanding on that tomorrow. The Navajo, I got the wings, one of the wings popped in half. The regular orange top Tamiya glue is working on the resin models, the 3D printed models, but they're not quite as tight a bond as the epoxy. No shock there, but it is holding. And tomorrow I'll start puttying this up, the Navajo wings, and getting everything, doing the sub assemblies first. You guys probably notice I like to do sub assemblies, get all that done instead of trying to build it all on the model when I can. I'm gonna went and pulled off the nose gear doors because I'm going to put this thing up on a stick, and I'm going to get rid of the blades. It was really hard to sand the blades down. They come with all that filament on them, and the material just doesn't. This stuff does not sand well. I feel like I'm trying to polish a diamond with it. But anyway, but it's going to look better on the stick with the clear discs on it anyway. Especially given that it's a low fidelity model. There's no interior. Everything's just engraved on it. It's going to look good. Don't get me wrong. But the main thing is, once I got to the part where I had to let everything harden, I was like, well, you know what? Now's a good time just to walk away from it, come back to it tomorrow. And I decided, I mentioned I want to get on that Focke-Wulf that Eric sent me. So, by the way, I'll try to find that video he did on it and link it below. He does a complete walkthrough on vintage model kits. But as soon as I opened the box, even though I'd never built the Focke-Wulf before, it's the 1/148 scale monogram kit that got away from me. But as soon as I pulled the parts out, started to handle them, I was like, yep, I could tell you blindfolded this was a monogram kit. Don't even know why. I just had that monogram vibe to it, which I love. It's, like I said, probably built more of those than anything else as a kid growing up. And there's no actual nostalgia attached to this one because I never built it, but I always wanted it, which is kind of a different kind of nostalgia maybe. Anywho. So got started on it, and again, I like to do the sub assemblies and pre-paint stuff. So got the interior painted, primed and painted, and got the cockpit built up. And you're not going to be able to see a whole lot, so I'm not trying to hyper detail it. Although it does have a couple of interior cockpit decals, including one on the back of the headrest. And there's actually three parts to the headrest. There's the frame to the sliding can. There's a frame, the headrest, and the support bar. And I wanted to. So since the clear part's going afterwards, I figured I'll just pre-paint all this, and I did, and I've got that assembled. So I got to work on it. A nice thing is this model, a lot of the parts, like the nose section, everything hold together pretty well just from friction fit, so I can get it all painted up and then pluck it apart and put the parts inside. I can leave the propeller and the engine off and everything while I do it. The instruction sheet shows this behind the propeller hub, I guess, supposed to be the cooling fins for the radial engine without the ring on it, but it actually fits better if you leave the ring on it. You can't see it, so I'm leaving that ring on it. Also, I'm not quite sure what the story is here, but it shows part numbers like A this or B that, and the only thing stamped, the only runner tree I have that has a letter stamped on it is the black runner tree, which is A. But the parts are listed as B, so that may just be leftover instruction sheet from the way they did it before or something, or maybe it's supposed to be, the black is supposed to be an A side and a B side, but the A was the only thing I found listed. Not a big deal, just one of those things worthy of note. And when the decals appear to be usable, I might use some more modern decals on it, but I've only used two of them, but they've laid down and stayed and put, so I think the decals are usable. But I've just used two little ones. But we'll see. I've got a lot of Balkan crosses and broken crosses and stuff to put on it if I need to. Just hope the squadron markings are good. One thing I tell people, though, if you ever get an old kit. I mean, if you're not like the hyper detail guy, if you've got a stack of relatively modern national markings from various eras, you can always just put those on an airplane and kind of make it sort of a generic, because some planes weren't really marked up that much. It just depends on when and where. Anyway, but I think these are good. And it does have a lot of decals. The kit is actually, it's very straightforward, but it looks pretty good. It's got that monogram folding gear on it. And it's, I verified that the part numbers do match the box number. So everything's where it's supposed to be. And it's going together. I got it primed. I got most of the sub-assemblies made. I'm going to paint the top of the wings and probably the upper part of the fuselage before I put it all together. Then I will, I know it's normally easier because of putty and sanding and everything to just put it all together, sand it down, wash it, prime it, and then start painting. But to be honest, it doesn't look like this is really going to need putty in the wing roots. And it's a 1/48 scale monogram kit. I'm not going to go overboard with it. I want to make something that's going to look nice on the shelf. And if I do get it together and I go, okay, that's too much to ignore, then I'll just put tape bordering the seam, put the putty straight in, paint it that way, and peel it off. Shouldn't hurt the paint that's already on it. And you know, one thing you can do, and I know it's not technically accurate, but if you have an issue with especially on a single engine fighter where the cockpit's over the wing, if you have a seam that you're like, yeah, you know, I had to paint that, it doesn't look quite right, you know, you can spend a lot of time trying to touch it up, or you can get yourself some black decal sheet or some black paint, tape it off, and put a black walkway, you know, on it. And it may not be accurate, but it blends. Nobody really notices. It's just a little cheat you can do. And the Focke-Wulf 190 is, actually have a 1/32 scale later model on the shelf I haven't gotten to, but somehow that's a kit that's just always eluded me. And some people argue that that's what they should have been building instead of Messerschmitts. The 109, they were set up to mass produce them. They were a competent airplane, although they were really stretching by the end of the war. But the 190, a lot of guys, they really preferred that plane. It was wide track gear, easier to land and take off, had a more or less a sliding bubble canopy on it, so you had better visibility. It was just an easier plane to fly. They didn't call it the Butcher Bird for nothing. It was a very competent fighter plane with a lot of firepower. It actually had electrically timed guns in the wing roots, so those cannons could fire through the prop, synchronized as well as the cowl guns. So they didn't call it the Butcher Bird for nothing. So there's not a lot of argument making they should have been making those and just put the 109 out to pasture, but they didn't, and that's that. And I mean, it wasn't going to win the war for them, but anywho, if I had to be a German fighter pilot, though, I'd probably rather fly the 190. But so that's where I'm at for right now. Here's the workspace as it sits when I'm shutting down for the evening. So I'm going to go kick the tires on the Mustang, pre-flight it, and get ready for a beautiful Florida Sunday evening drive. It's getting nice down here. I'm only sweating because I'm inside the Tarbis, and I've turned the air conditioner off so you don't have a bunch of background noise. Once I go outside, it's much nicer. This insulation works. Helps keep the cold in and the heat. I work in a thermos. Guys, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later, and as always, model on.